For personalized astrology reports and interesting vlogs, make sure you click on my original and correct website, and that's www.vedicoraclebyKadambari.com.
What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about planet Saturn in the third house. So let's begin. First of all guys, I'm literally very sorry. I've been posting only one video per week. So from last 2 weeks, I have just posted 2 videos. Generally, I always try to put at least 2 to 3 videos, but due to some issues, I was unable to make any new video. So the plan is that I'll try to put at least 2 to 3 videos in a week. Yes, it's a very short-term plan of mine, at least 2 to 3 videos per week. And there is a big announcement. See, I want to do something different on this channel. Okay, what is the general scope of astrology channel? We talk about planetary placements, we talk about transits, and sometimes it gets too boring for the person who is standing over here in the front of the camera, and even for the audience. Okay, so yes, despite of talking about all the transits and planetary placements, I really want to talk about something very interesting and unique. So on every Friday, I'll be posting a very unique video. It would be related to mythology, astrology, or maybe both. But yes, it would be quite different and interesting for you. So yes, get ready for something interesting and refreshing on every Friday. So what does planet Saturn indicates? Well, it's a planet of delays, restrictions, and limitations. So wherever the planet Saturn is placed in your horoscope, it brings restrictions and limitations related to the affairs of that house. And wherever it is placed, it tends to teach you a lesson. It wants you to be a better person in respect to the qualities of that house. Saturn is all about law, order, structure, discipline, responsibility. See, Saturn is a judge who just wants balance. So wherever the planet Saturn is placed and whatsoever houses it's aspecting, it definitely brings challenges in respect to those houses, the affairs related to those houses. Now, what do you understand by the third house? Well, third house of a horoscope represents communication, how you talk and interact with the people around you. Okay, third house is the house of your analytical skills, intelligence, your younger siblings, short journeys, short trips, your neighborhood. Okay, it represents your relatives, your cousins. It's the house of efforts and courage, initiative, self-effort. Now, what happens when Saturn is placed in the third house? So firstly, third house is what? The house of communication. So Saturn in the third house brings the resistance to communicate. The major problem with these people is the inability to communicate with other people, to respond to the messages of other people. Okay, it's quite hard for them, quite difficult for them to even, respond to a phone call or a text message. They almost skip their heartbeat by just the ringing of the bell, like the one trin trin, and they're like, oh my god, who's calling? Why are you calling at this time of the day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night? But they always feel very insecure and disturbed whenever they just find that someone is calling them on their phone. But according to them, you should seek permission before calling. Okay, you just text them that, hey, can I call you? So they're more comfortable with this thing because there is a resistance to talk to someone immediately like this. Okay, so you need to seek permission before you just call them. And also, it takes a lot of time to respond even to a text message. So, yes, they kind of feel very hesitated, during this process of responding to the phone calls or text messages. As we are talking about resistance to communicate, okay, a lot depends upon the placement of Saturn, in which sign it's placed, in which nakshatra it's placed, and whether it's associated with any other planet. And all these things completely define this placement, okay? So for some, it might be quite difficult to communicate, but other people may not have that kind of difficulty, that level of difficulty in communicating with other people. So a lot depends upon the placement of Saturn. These natives not only hesitate to communicate through phone, but they also hesitate while talking face to face with other people. See, Saturn in the third house is creating a fear. And because of that fear, they tend to hesitate while connecting and talking to other people. They don't want to share their thoughts, views, and ideas because they feel that they will be judged and criticized for sharing their own ideas. Okay, their thoughts and ideas won't be accepted by other people. Other people may just judge them by their views, or they make fun of their ideas. Okay, and Saturn is creating that fear, and because of that fear, they tend to stay quiet. They tend to just keep their thoughts within themselves. From resistance to communication comes the resistance to work together with other people. See, third house is your immediate surrounding, people around you. And because of the communication gap, because of the communication trouble, it's quite difficult for these natives to work as a group, to work with the whole team. Again, the same problem, unable to express what you feel, what are your ideas, because there's a fear that you will get judged. And also with this placement till the age of 30, 31, these people are criticized for their thoughts and ideas. But remember that wherever Saturn is placed, it tends to restrict everything till a certain age, that is until your first Saturn return, age of 30 or 31. And after that, you tend to become the master. Okay, the master related to that particular house. So yes, once you reach the age of 30 and 31, you will be the master in terms of the affairs of the third house. So till the age of 30, you may face communication troubles, a lot of problem while dealing with your team members, your teammates. The third house is the house of bravery, courage, self-effort, and initiatives. So Saturn over there tends to take away that courage, and that brings the resistance to take any kind of initiative. No matter how amazing and beautiful ideas and plans you have in your mind, but you're unable to execute those plans. You're unable to make an initiative. You cannot work according to your plans. Okay, because there is a fear. Again, there is a fear that your work, your ideas won't be appreciated by other people. You will be criticized for it. So the problem with Saturn in the third house is that it tends to give a lot of anxiety or depression, because third house is the house of intelligence. And Saturn from there, it's giving 10th aspect on the 12th house, the house of your subconsciousness. Whatever happens in your 12th house, it definitely affects your mind. So yes, it kind of gives a quite depressive mind, and these people are prone to anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And therefore, there is a resistance to put forward their ideas and thoughts. Fine. And even if you just get the courage to start with your own work, or you try to put your own self efforts, Saturn over there will give you failures. I'm not saying that failure forever, it tends to create a lot of obstacles or troubles. So, Saturn in the third house means that either there is an inability to put a new initiative, or maybe it's just that you have to put repeated efforts. Okay, repeatedly you have to try and try. You will fail, then you will try again, then fail, then try again, and finally you will succeed one day. So you have to put repeated efforts in order to achieve something. The third house represents your younger sibling, co-borns, relatives, cousins, your neighbors. Saturn in the third house gives a very problematic relationship with your younger siblings, even your cousins. Okay, there is lack of compatibility in this relationship, and also your younger sibling might not respect you because these people are unable to understand who you are as a person. They're unable to understand your ideas, your personality, your mentality, and that thing creates a lot of imbalance, indifference, and that's why there is a lack of communication. There's a communication gap between you and your younger siblings, even with your cousins and relatives. Third house is also the house of short distance journeys. It represents a place quite near to your home or your birthplace. It represents the marketplace around you, or maybe just your daily traveling to your office or market. All these things are indicated by the third house. So, Saturn over there in the third house indicates loss through traveling. It can bring obstacles and problem in your daily commuting, daily traveling. And even if you don't face a trouble, it just means that you get exhausted and tired. You feel completely drained by traveling and daily commuting. So, what is the most positive point about this placement? Well, we have talked enough about the negative things. What are the positive points about this placement? Firstly, it makes one a self-made person. I have told you earlier in this video that natives who have this kind of a placement are unable to express themselves, and they are unable to work with the whole team. They cannot work with others. So, by the first Saturn return till the age of 29 and 30, after that, you tend to believe on your own thoughts and ideas. You won't be afraid to take new initiatives and efforts. And Saturn in third house makes one an entrepreneur. They just love to work by themselves. So yes, Saturn in the third house is absolutely a brilliant placement for an entrepreneur because it gives you persistent success, because you have that quality of giving persistent efforts and hard work, and that would generate persistent, sustained success. Now, third house is also the house of materialistic growth. It's the Upchai house. And Saturn in the third house can give you great wealth. And it would be the self-made wealth, okay? It will be all because of your efforts, your hard work. And Saturn in third house gives amazing materialistic results. So yes, you may tend to worry a lot about your finances till the age of 30, but after that, everything just improves beautifully. Saturn tends to improve your communication abilities with age. Okay, there will be a time when you won't be able to communicate with other people, you won't be able to express yourself, but with time, Saturn will make you the smartest speaker. Though you will continue to talk very precisely and to the point, but There won't be anyone like you, okay? You are the one who will talk to the point precisely, but your speech will be so confident and effective. It will leave a great impact on other people, okay? They will take you quite seriously. So Saturn in the third house is a great placement. No matter there are troubles in the initial stages of life, but remember, it makes you a self-made person. And I think everyone out there wants to be a self-made person, okay? It gives you a great pleasure and happiness when you put a lot of effort into something and it yields such beautiful results. So being a self-made person is, I think, the best thing you can achieve. Now from the third house, Saturn aspects the fifth house, ninth house, and the 12th house of your horoscope. So firstly, when Saturn aspects your fifth house, it tends to delay the event of childbirth, or it doesn't gives you the desire to start with your own family, because for you, your work is your priority. You are preoccupied by so many things that you don't want to start with your family life too early, or just it simply gives a delay in the childbirth. Okay, and even if you have children at the early stage of life, you may face a lot of troubles while raising your children. Also, the fifth house is the house of affairs, romance, okay? And Saturn over there gives a lot of trouble, okay? It gives you a really hard time to search for that perfect partner. Now, the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of destiny, the house of wisdom. It also represents your father. Now, Saturn, when aspects the ninth house, it generally gives a lot of trouble to the native's father also. There can be a problematic relationship with the father, or you may get the responsibilities of your father at a very young age, okay? And also its aspect in the ninth house again indicates that you have to put in a lot of efforts, repeated efforts, to get success in life. Lastly, it aspects the 12th house, the 10th aspect on the 12th house. I have told you earlier that 12th house is the house of your subconscious. It's the house of loss. Now, Saturn looks there, giving 10th aspect on the 12th house. Firstly, it gives a lot of anxiety and depressive mood. That is the major trouble over here. Secondly, it affects a lot on their confidence. Okay, this aspect of Saturn on the 12th house decreases the confidence level of the native, and that's why they don't trust on their own ability. The most important lesson to be learned with this placement is to trust yourself, trust your intelligence, believe in yourself, okay? Never ever hesitate to express your ideas, okay? You are on a journey to be a self-made person. So yes, never ever fear to express yourself. So guys, that's all for today's video, and if you like this video, do put a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe, okay? Goodbye.